So welcome to Bunny's Designs. I love my parallel pens from Pilot, but I don't like the fact that it's a throwaway kind of I've forgotten the word, cartridge. And these particular ones have like a little valve on top. So if I show you one oops, that's the little valve. And then when it gets pushed onto the pen, the valve is pushed to one side. So kind of it kind of is like this, a little flap. So that's when it's sealed, and then that's when the ink is allowed to flow out. And because of that, Alfie, that's naughty. At the model shows, these are not sharp. These are quite big ones. It doesn't actually give. They're normally just sitting there. I mean, it is sharp, but you can't prick your finger. That's what I mean to say. And the gentlemen at the model railway shows use them for oiling tiny spaces when they're making their engines. And they're really fine, detailed mechanical engines. Or sometimes if you want to oil the insides of the wheels, this is what they use. So they put a fine oil in here, a special oil, and that's what they use them for. And I thought, ooh, I know what I could put in there. I can put some ink in there, and I can push it past very carefully the flap, if you can see that going in there, tip it upright, and then I could actually fill that with ink. And I can pop the little flip, if you can see I'm poking it back, but I can actually put it straight on to the pen, push it down, and that pen is moving the flap so that it's filled again, and it's going to be filled with the ink of my choice, which this one is the Dale & Rowney Candara Drawing Ink Black Indian Black Ink. And I like this one. It's a really nice ink to work with. I normally use rotary Indian ink, but most Indian inks are permanent and they are fast. And they're fast drying as well. So I thought I'd show you how quickly it is to fill these pens. Now I've started with playing about with my Pilot parallel pens. You can buy them separately, or you can buy them in threes, and I think you get a pack of these. Now they are a couple of pounds to buy. I think this set came with it, and these are £1.75 for 6. And again, a tight Yorkshire lass. I wasn't really happy with that. Oh, hi Suzanne, welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live show recorded for Ustream.tv and also for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. And we have an Alfie in the room, enough said, to disrupt our peace and quiet in this kind of chilly autumn. It's supposed to be still summer, but it's more like autumn. This in the UK, we're having a bit of nasty cold weather popping along. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you what I do. Now, you need a piece of paper down, kitchen paper or tissue handy, because this is a messy job. And now I have been doing this since I was 16. I've been playing with inks and filling pens like this and using dip pens. So I'm quite used to the fact that, you know, if you look at this, it's going to spill. So you can have kitchen roll, you can have an old tray, so if it spills, it's not going to go anywhere. You can do it outside. Do it where it's going to do it in the bath if it's going to really spill. So always have your kitchen paper ready. You may not need it. So I'm only going to put a little bit in here because it's very black. So these are the new ones. Oopsie. And again, mistake, because I'm going to take them all off, even though that one's got a little bit of oil, a little bit of ink in. That's got a bit of ink in, that one. But I am actually going to take that off and get it all over my fingers. So you can't see that fill very fast. And I'm going to do it very much shorter than the little pens. And I'm going to pop that back on there and hold it away from yourself, because if you do get too much ink or an air hole, like with any ink pen, it's likely to squirt out. So you can do two things. So I think that one's on. I'm going to put that one. And this one is the orange one, which normally has the top on. It tells you what it is, but it's worn off. And that's the 1.5. And the next one will be this one. And I should have had a piece of, and you can see it does it very quickly. But I have been doing this a long time. So, and I still make a mess. It is a messy job. But a tight Yorkshire lass, it's worth it for me, because I get the ink in here that I want. Some people have their favourite inks. Now it has to be a fairly good quality ink because it's a fairly fine pen. And this one is the orange, the yellow one, and this is the 2.4. And I'll show you what the pens can do in a minute. And again, I've lost the top off that one. And this is the fattest, and I haven't used this as much, but I probably will today. So again, it's empty. And that can go into there. Again, just wipe the top, just to make sure you're not going to get anything on the inside. You can just wash them with hot soapy water, but it's such a pest. And this is the green one, which is the 3.8. So it's the fattest one. And I actually still have that little sticker still on the end there. Right, so now is the time to put the excess ink back into there. Now what I would do with this straight away is in cold water, which I've moved, I would draw it in and out, and it would clean it all needs cleaning. I just go get my water pot, because again I moved it last night. So I've got some spilt ink there. That's the top of the syringe, and I'm just going to pop those into there. And I've refilled my 3 pens with my favourite drawing paper. I got this from Cornelius's in London, which is a gorgeous, almost like a Harry Potter shop. It's all wooden floorboards, and it has all wooden little cupboards and drawers and things. It's very old, and it's all original, and it's the most fantastic shop to go in. But it's a bit like Olivetti's. You want to stay in there for a good couple of hours. And they have some fantastic drawing inks. They have everything you could possibly want as a professional artist. Fantastic. But being that, everything's top quality and everything's a little bit expensive. But I found that these were cheaper in Olivetti's, in Cornelius's, than they were in Cas Art. And Cas Art in the UK is normally quite good. So I'm going to go clean this, because I don't want to leave that in there to dry, even though it would be quite easy. So I'll just go get my water pot. Haven't got it. Having a bit of a change round in the room. Right, I've just got a glass that my daughters use. And you'll see instantly that it's still gone black. That's the quality of the ink. It was empty. So you need to do this, and it's getting lighter and lighter. So you would probably do that into one, and then, but as you can see, it is actually cleaning it out. So I'm going to leave that as it is, and remember not to drink that. So again, you can't really poke yourself with them, but you know, if it's back now into my ink. I love this little thing. Now I can actually get some ink pads in here as well, so I've got quite a few things in there. So the parallel pens, and I can get rid of the little mat now. Hopefully this won't flash out. So I'll show you the different sizes. Oh, Suzanne says she's got those. That's pretty good. Yes, Alfie's been a good boy. Oh, well, I think you might like them, Melody. I think they're really good. So we'll try the smallest first, which I think is this one. Yeah. Now I haven't used this for a good few days. I didn't use this one. I think I used the yellow one. So we'll give it a go. So it may have got clogged up a bit. Sometimes they do. In which case, I'm just dunking that in that water to get that flowing. And I was actually playing on my sketchbook. Let me see if I can get my other sketchbook out. Just put this away. Baby wipes would be a good idea. Just to get any excess ink from me. So I was playing with them in, and I'll pan out a bit, in my sketchbook. My junk sketchbook. Now my junk sketchbook is made up of cheap wallpaper. It's made out of a cornflake box. And if I squash the spine down, you can see it's threaded with Copic stitches. And I put some little things on the top, and I put some glass pearlized bookmarks at the bottom. And I did take this away this weekend, and I didn't do any colouring in, but I did a little bit of drawing. See if that looks any better. So I started playing with these pens, and then I ran out and I didn't have any ink. So that must have been actually Saturday. So I thought I'd have a play, and I took my very large book of butterflies with me, and so I was drawing. I've been playing about with the camera. Apologies. So I was looking at butterflies in my huge butterfly book. Oh, thank you, Melody. Yes, I had a good time, but I was sitting behind a model railway show. So I took with me lots of things to do, but I ended up sketching butterflies from this huge, huge book. And I'd done a couple before, and I thought, I really want to play about with these butterflies. Sorry about the glare. And so this is the parallel pen before it ran out, and then I had to use something else. But I was playing with all the ink pens that I have. And eventually I thought, oh, parallel pens. And then I think it ran out and I had to use just a black marker. So I've been playing in my giant sketchbook. Now this is quite rough because it's cheap paper liner. And this is my Chinese design that I was doing quite a long time ago. So I was having a bit of a play, and this is where I got the idea of thick and thin from this parallel pen. And I thought, oh, I quite like these doodles. These are quite nice. So I kind of started sketching them, and then, like I say, I ran out of ink, and I thought I think this is the thicker one, but maybe I've picked up a little bit of paper on there because it might not like it. So I had a real good play with a couple of those, and this is with the parallel pen as well. That's a Red Admiral. And then I did a little bit of watercolouring with my pens. And that led me to think, oh, I quite like sketching and doodling again, because I used to do a lot of line drawings. Don't know where my other one is now. No, it's disappeared. I thought it would. It's disappeared. Things in my house disappear overnight. Yeah, it's disappeared. Oh, it truly has disappeared. How strange. Oh well. No, it's disappeared. It's one of those things in this house. Things just disappear. I did tear a lot of artwork up last night, so I don't have a lot. But I did keep that one piece because I did it when I was about 15. But that led me to. I did take this book with me, and I thought this would be a lovely size for sketching. It's got ivory paper and it's got brown paper, and I thought I quite like the brown paper. So I was playing about with the parallel pen yesterday and just doodling. But I like the fact you can go from thick to thin in one motion, and you can do that with these pens. And they do give you quite a nice effect in kind of one sweeping motion. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. Thank you. Not quite sure about the fairy, but it's a doodle. So this is going to be kind of a doodle. Now let's see if we can just get this going on this page. I may have clogged it up purely because I was messing about with a completely different type of paper. And oh, there we go. We're going. I think we're going now. Yeah, okay. And so, because this is a very, very fine-tuned pen, sorry about the bark, because it's a very fine-tuned pen, you can go in the same, every direction you want, and that's what made me think, oh, I like this. So you can go up, you can go down, you can sideways, and I really like that in a pen. I think I picked up some little bits from that wallpaper because it was cheap liner. So this one is fantastic. This one is the 2.4, so you've got a really thin line, but then you can just change direction and get some really nice flows. So you can do the curve of the mushroom, and then you can also draw on its corner. So you turn it and you're just drawing on a corner for a very fine line. and really like that one. I think that's the one I use the most, but I think I'm probably going to play with this one. So this is the 3.8. So again, you get a fine line, but then you can change direction. And it's really fast flowing, really nice to play. And then you just play on the corner if you want it very fine. Just using the very corner. Every direction as well. So if you're left-handed or right-handed, and there's no scratch like a dip pen. I love my dip pens, but sometimes I want to doodle fast flowing, and I don't want to be messing about. I don't really want to be messing about. And then I'm a bit left-handed, so I just have to turn that. I'll just turn that one off, see if it doesn't flash out too much. And then we kind of go up there, and we can go like this. And you can have your fine lines back into there. So it's really nice, any direction. So they're gorgeous to draw with. So if my hand's in the way. And then you can start to play with thinking about the butterfly patterns. Now I do have a lot of doodles in this particular style because it was my uncle, when I was at college, bought me a paintbrush, and it was a flat paintbrush, and we didn't normally use flat paintbrushes, and I used to just dip it into my ink. And so I'm a bit of a happy girl now because I've kind of got my mojo back. I mean, they're not brilliant, but it's a doodle and it's my doodle, and so I quite like it. So I thought I might just do some doodles and then colour them in. But I wanted to show these parallel pens are really easy to use. You do have to remember not to put your hand and smudge them though. So you've got a bit of a butterfly going on. But they are a bit expensive, and as a tight Yorkshire lass, but I must have had mine quite a number of years. But if you're into ink drawings and you're into drawing, then they seem to be, they're really quite nice. So you can just kind of, and you can either use the edge to give you a really sweeping curve. And I've actually done that wrong because I should have done my little fronds. So you use the corner to do your little fronds. You can do it a bit neater than me. I'm just scratching the corners, but you can get some really fine work. Even if you bought one pen, and you can do your different circles if you wanted. I like the thinner ones. You can kind of manipulate things, or you can make little windows. I think I like windows in mine, and little windows. And this pen allows you to work thick and thin. Hi May, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Oh, Miss Suzanne says she paid 22. I think mine were 27, but I did get all three. Suzanne said paid 22 US. Is that for all of them, Suzanne, or just for one? They're about £20–30 if you get the full set. And sometimes you can get a pack of these, but as I'm a tight Yorkshire lass and it breaks my heart to throw things away. So I like the idea that I've got my really nice drawing ink into here. Most inks would go in. They're not that fine. They're not as fine as an airbrush. But actually this particular this particular drawing ink actually does have a paintbrush on it. An airbrush. So it's for a rotring pen, it's for the paintbrush, it's for a dip pen, and it's also for airbrush. It's a very fine ink, which means it flows lovely. It was £5.50, but it's one of the top ones on the planet. It's a nice one. So thanks for joining me, everybody. I hope everybody's okay. So that's my first scribble with my rotring pens, and this one is the 3.8 one, the thicker one. But they're very good for doodles and for drawing. And you do get a little bit inked up if you are refilling bottles and things. But it's quite nice to know you can actually do that without too much hassle. So thanks for watching.